There we go. Think we're all on. Can never tell. I am absolutely shit when it comes to being able to tell if this is actually on or not. Give it a couple of minutes. Give it a couple of seconds. Gonna open that because it's good news tonight. Let's see. How are we? How are we? How are we? Perfect. I think we're good. I think we're good. I can never ever tell if this is actually on properly or not. It goes because my internet's so awful at points. I've got no way of knowing if this is on. I've got no way of knowing if it's not. And yeah, but there we go. So we are sorted. We're live, and yeah, it's a good day. It's a very, very, very good day. Nothing has been confirmed as of yet. Nothing is done. Nothing has been concrete. Well, I mean, it is pretty much concrete that Jeremie Frimpong is going to be joining Liverpool. He's had his medical, or he's had part of it. It's not been completely done. He's not fully past anything yet. But the rumor is Jeremie Frimpong has undergone a large majority of his medical. Just let me see if I can get this actually up prop better so that people can actually see the screen share as opposed to my face. Bear with me 1 second. Zoom, zoom, zoom. There we go. But yeah, Jeremie Frimpong looks set like he is going to be coming to Liverpool. He started undergoing his medical. There was so much like MI5 work this morning with actually covering where Jeremie Frimpong was going. There were people tracking his jet, tracking it from London to Liverpool and back and forth and all over the world. And yeah, Jeremie Frimpong looks set to be joining with Liverpool. And you know, like Roger says, he's passed the medical supposedly. Now, there were rumours apparently today that he is going to be getting the number 30 shirt. Sure, why not? I'd personally be giving him the number 66, if I'm being honest, just to give it one last fuck you to Trent. But he is going to be the number 30. The rumour is that he is going to be a Liverpool player. He's almost past the medical. And yes, Brett Young just said, I'd just like and subscribe. Thank you very much. We're now 4,659 because I have got it on my phone. I'm not going to put that up because that's got stuff on it that people can't see. But yeah, very excited. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, Jeremie Frimpong comes to Liverpool. How's everyone actually feeling about it? Because I'll be honest, I was very sort of pessimistic. I think the first time I heard about the Jeremie Frimpong news, I had the same view that I think a lot of people had was signing a right back. He's someone who isn't renowned for his defensive work, and he isn't someone who you'd expect to be permanent addition at right back. But then the Conor Bradley stuff's happened. All the other metrics of Jeremie Frimpong, you look into and you do realise that we are signing one of the best attacking wide players in Europe. Jeremie Frimpong. And you know what? We're signing Jeremie Frimpong, this incredibly talented wing back, and we're signing him for a fee of 35 million pounds. And you realise how cheap that actually is. And you go back and realise that we signed Andy Carroll for 35 million pounds. We have signed Naby Keita for over 50 million pounds. We signed Nunez for over 65 million pounds. And we've got Jeremie Frimpong, who's been one of the most sought after attacking players of the past couple of years, for about 35 million pounds, and we can pay it off in installments. Like, that's ridiculous. And there's so much that can be said about the fact that we're not willing to spend money and that we wait too long and that we take too much time. This is amazing, and it's got so many shades of Alexis McAllister's deal when we signed him, in the sense of we're not waiting for things to happen. We're just going out and we're saying, right, you know what? This is who we want. This is who we're getting. And you've got to give the club credit for that, for the fact that they've actually gone out there and they've just said, you know what? We want Frimpong. We're getting Jeremie Frimpong for cheap as anything. Who's this? Who's this? Who's following me? Sweet. Perfect. But yeah, I mean, we're going to go into it today. We're going to discuss Jeremie Frimpong. Get involved in the comments. Like, let me know what you think about the fact that we're actually signing him, or we're close to anyway. He has supposedly passed the medical. Nothing has been like announced yet. Apparently, tomorrow is going to be when the official announcement is made by Liverpool. But according to reports, according to multiple sources, he's completed part one of his medical, and he is going to continue the rest of it on Monday. That is the supposed rumours. He is going to be wearing the number 30 shirt, according to different reports. Paul Joyce has been reporting it. it. Fabrizio Romano as well. There's been a multitude of people who have come out and said that the Jeremie Frimpong deal is basically done. And I'm, yeah, on one hand, like I said, I didn't know how to really take it. On like you're signing a terrific attacking player, there's no disputing that. And I think losing Trent is a big thing. Still, it still is. Like, say what you want about it, that's going on. It is a big thing. We are losing one of the most talented attacking fullbacks in European football, Liverpool history, and Premier League history. But we're signing Jeremy Frimpong. I'm so happy that this is the route of which we're going. I'll carry on in a moment. Just going to give it a minute for anyone to get involved who wants to. Oh. That's it. Ooh. Where are we? Um, yeah, Jeremy Frimpong. Look, I'm happy that this is a player that we've gone out of time. We needed another right back. I think the whole Trent conundrum, Conor Bradley, I think is warranted being the first team next season. I think he has more than earned his right to be able to come out there and solidify himself as our starting right back. I have no issue with that whatsoever. I do think the injuries are a concern, and there is an argument to be made that maybe he needs a little bit longer to proper assert himself into right back for Liverpool, but I've got no issue with giving him the chance. I think signing Frimpong is not your sort of. He's not going to just rotate with Bradley. I don't think. I view it as a sort of. If Chiesa does leave, if we do lose him from right wing behind Mo Salah, Frimpong can deputise there. He can play as a right back if you need him to. If you do need to rotate around Bradley, I think if Frimpong does start for us at any point, we're probably going to go to some sort of makeshift three at the back. Not 100% set. It is a weird one because, like, defensively, he's not too good of a player. But you don't really buy a Jeremy Frimpong for that. You buy him because of what he offers going forward. And we'll look at the stats in a minute because it's really it. It's not an slot type player on paper, and you'd expect that he'd go out and he'd sign someone who's just an out and out defender, who's just an out and out right back, not someone who's going to try and venture forward and make things happen. Jeremy Frimpong, I would have never thought in a million years that this is the type of player that Arne Slot would have gone for. And yet, here we are. He's signing one of the most sought after, attack minded. He's not even a fullback. He's not a right back. He's not. He is a right winger who's been moved slightly further back to right wing back. And I just can't see how he fits into the system beyond being an option for behind Salah if he needs a break and an option for Conor Bradley. But if he is, then we're going to have to go to some sort of free at the back, maybe play like PSG do, where he's like in the Hakimi role. He's just going to constantly run into the box, constantly try and make things happen. Like, let me see if I can actually cast because I've got a player comparison open of for Jeremy Frimpong, Conor Bradley, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So if I can get the comparison up here, because this one is very small. Like, defensively, as I say, Jeremy Frimpong is not that solid of a player. We all knew that, though. Like I said, you don't sign him because you want someone who's an out-and-out defender. You sign him because he's one of the best attacking fullbacks in Europe. We've seen that with Leverkusen. He did an invincible double, won the Deutsche Pokal, won the Bundesliga, was one game away from winning the Europa League as well. Like, he's talented. He's cheap. How that's his release clause in the Bayer Leverkusen contract, I don't know, because that is an absolute steal. That is a bargain for someone of his age and his caliber. But yeah, like tackles wise, tackles one, he actually is the best tackle success rate of any of Liverpool's fullbacks. So he's got a higher one than Conor Bradley, a higher one than Trent. But you look at the amount that he actually gets attacked. Like, he's very, very few compared to Trent. I will admit that probably about a quarter of those from Trent are when Jeremy Doku like ran rings around him for Man City a few months ago. But Conor Bradley the same. He's not a player who tends to get attacked. And I think that's because with Leverkusen they do play a free at the back, so he's not relied upon defensively as much as you'd think. And I think that is why there's a bit of a misconception about how good he is defensively. It's not his role. He's not there to defend, so his defensive stats are going to be lower compared to what you'd expect. He is someone who will sit higher up the pitch. Like his heat map, and I can get that up shortly, he dominates the final like half of the pitch. He's always in the attacking side of the pitch. He's not someone who ventures back very often because that's not his role. You see how good he is going forward. He feeds off Florian Wirtz. He's someone who is so great at inverted runs, having a go at the opposition's defence. He's not someone who's going to sit back and defend because he doesn't need to be. You've got a free at the back for Leverkusen, who've got arguably one of the best back threes in Europe. He doesn't need to be a defensive minded player, but this shows as well that when he does actually get attacked, he can defend. He can make things happen. He's not this purely inept right back, so to speak. He can defend. And I just think that it's a big misconception because he's someone who has not been tasked with being a defensive minded player for Leverkusen. He's someone who's been tasked with, right, we will get you the ball, you make things happen, you have a go. And fine. I've got no issue with that whatsoever if that's the type of player that we've signed. Because if you're losing Trent, you're going to need someone who can attack from the right back position. And Conor Bradley does it, but Conor Bradley is a much better. He's better at running with the ball as opposed to trying to pass it to someone or square it to someone. He's not the same level of crosser, of course, as Trent. Conor Bradley is very much a sort of head down and run kind of player. And I think Frimpong's the same type of style. Like, they're a very much sort of, if I can find the, where are we? Past types we're talking about, possession, take-ons, there we go. So, middle is Trent, top is Jeremie Frimpong, middle is Trent, the bottom is Conor Bradley. And like, you look at the attempted pass, the attempted take-ons that they have, and Jeremie Frimpong exceeds them both. He's got more than the other two combined, and he actually has the same amount of successful take-ons as the other two combined. He's got a lower success rate, but obviously he's attempting a lot more because that's his role. That's what Conor Bradley does. Trent is someone who you'll give him the ball and he can pick out a pass. And he tends to run at players when he's got space. He's not too good at trying to take people on. Conor Bradley will get it and he will just run past people, head down, run past and go. And I think Frimpong's that type of player. He's someone who's going to get it from anyone else in the back line and he's going to run with it. It's question that man. But yeah, I mean, I can come on to that in a bit. I suppose I'll just sort of talk about Frimpong a bit. I'm happy. I think there's a lot of positives to this. The pull and power alone. This shows that we're not just the sort of we've won the Prem. All this crap about we've won the league because City have been off it, and Arsenal, Arteta are having a whinge and a cry because we've got red cards and we've got injuries and it's all bollocks. It's utter bollocks. We've won the league because we've been the best team by a mile and we've had the best players by a mile. We've just been the best side. That's it. End of discussion. This shows that we are capable of signing the big name players, the players that everyone's after. Bayern Munich were apparently interested in him. Real Madrid were apparently interested in him. City, because Kyle Walker's gone shite now and they've had to send him off to AC Milan. We have been able to assert ourselves here and we've been able to sign a big name player, one of the most sought after in recent years in Europe, who's been from one of the best Bundesliga sides. And yeah, you signed him for 35 million. And there is always this big conversation about we take too long to sign people. We don't make moves quick. We are a sort of, we will wait and prolong it like we did with Zubimendi, like we've done in the past numerous times, but we got this done quick. And we did the exact same with Alexis McAllister when he joined. We do act quick when we know it's a player that we're after. Frimpong has passed his medical already, mate. He just needs to sign that contract 5 beautiful years. 5 years, that needs to be the key thing here. Don't give him a 4-year contract because he is someone else who will probably run it down and we'll end up in the same situation like we did with Trent and now like we have with Konate. 5-year deal, please. Make that happen. We move on to Kerkez and then a lot of different emojis. I see fire, I see eyes, I think a firework, and then I can't make out the last few, but I'm assuming it's good anyway. Yeah, Kerkez 100%. Kerkez needs to be the next addition. There's these sort of memes going around, or not memes, but it's like a trend. Sorry, I'm old. Where people are saying 1 of 5, 1 of 6, 1 of 4, depending on how many you want to sign. Kerkez was pretty much on everyone's agenda that we need to sign. We need Kerkez. Like, a left back is an undeniable priority now. We've got a right back. That situation's sorted. And I'd argue that it's actually been sorted now for the next 5-6 years. You've got Conor Bradley now on a 4-year contract. Not a big fan because of everything that's gone on. but you've still got him sealed down till 2029. I believe it is. You've got Frimpong now. Hopefully, it's set to be a 5-year deal till 2030. That position now is locked down for a good few years. You don't need to worry about that. Left back now needs to be a priority because you've got Kostas Tsimikas still there. You've got Andrew Robertson who's slowly waning. We need to address that area. And there's a lot of people saying that we could go out and sign Hato or Hato, however you pronounce his name. I would be happy to sign him as a centre back. I don't want to see him signed to be a left back because I think if we're going to prioritise a long-term left back at this club, it can't be someone who is a makeshift left back. If we're going to sign a left back, if we're going to sign someone who's going to make that role theirs for the next however many years, once Robertson starts to come down, once Tsimikas leaves, which I think will be this summer, we need someone who's going to come in and who's going to immediately play as left back. I don't want to see a Joe Gomez situation. Don't want to see a centre back move to left back as a sort of makeshift option. I don't want to see like a Jarrell Kwanzaa situation. I don't want us to be in a scenario where we end up with someone like James Milner at left back. I want an out and out left back, and Kirkes is your option there. And I think it's because in the back line you can't prat around. We can't just put makeshift players there and go throw something at the wall and see what sticks. Kirkes is phenomenal, and he's the player that we should go out and sign. Great to see you back online, mate. Looking forward to you. I have to say, and think you are now right up to with Redman TV. You talk a lot of sense. Oh, thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that one. It's threw me off a bit, actually. I'm gonna, you know what? We'll have a celebration. I appreciate that quite a lot. Yeah. Maybe Hato after Kirkes. Hato, 100% agree. Like I said, he would be a terrific long-term option at centre back. I think if you look at all the rumour mill that's going around online at the moment, and there's a lot of players who look set to be leaving from our back line, or the rumour. Joe Gomez is one that I'm shocked that he's still here, and that's not a disrespect to him. I think Joe Gomez is fantastic at points. He's been with us long enough now to get a testimonial, and I think the time for him to move on is probably soon. I don't want to be selling all our defenders and ended up in a really shit situation. Keep Gomez if we can, but he's someone who I wouldn't expect to be sticking around for 2 more years. Kwanzaa's being linked to the likes of Newcastle. Tsimikas, I expect him to be leaving. So I think Hato is he's a really good long-term option. And actually, I suppose I'll have a look. I'll get Hato's stats up, actually, because I'm not sure. I haven't done too much looking in. Jarrell Hato. Or Hato. How do you pronounce it? Is it Hato or Hato? Because I'm a bit of a inept person when it comes to pronunciations. I really do. Honestly, the amount of stick I get on some of the list videos for my I called I called him like Ronnie Rosenthal. I called him like Rosenthal or something like it. I got murdered for that. So yeah, just ignore my pronunciations really, really badly. Where are we? Share screen. Still getting used to this. There we go. Hato or Hato. Someone needs to tell me how to pronounce that. So what are we talking with? So that's passing. I mean, this is in the Eredivisie. So this is just his like passing statistics. And I think this is so emblematic of where we are now as football fans, where we are linked to centre backs. And my first instinct is not what's he like defensively, what's he like, from a sort of a traditional centre back standpoint. It's what's he like on the ball. How is he going to play in this back line with regards to passing and possession? And I hate that so much. I really, really hate that. The overlap I was watching today, and I agree with Sean Dyche. I fucking hate how every centre back that you look at now, I'm instantly tuned to what his passing stats like, what's he like on the ball. So fuck that. We're going to look at his defending. I'm not being asked about the passing. Defence, so I mean, that's not looking good. Percentage of dribblers tackled 76.7% in the top 5% in that metrics. Not incredible defensive stats, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like, I think you're in the Eredivisie. He's playing for Ajax, and he's not expected to do too much defensive work. Like, where are Ajax actually sat in the Eredivisie at the moment? I imagine it's going to be like towards the top, but let me just see if I can. Standings, there we go. So the second. So yeah, he's not going to be expected to defend too much. I can't really expect them to be putting out ridiculous numbers defensively. Does that mean I'm overly impressed with them? Not really. Passes blocked 0.9 is in the top 28% in that metric, top 35% for blocks. That's terrific. Possession is in the top 28% for touches. And I mean, like I said, this is a sort of, this is emblematic of where we are now as football fans, where passing stats just seem to be the main focus and priority, and I do hate it, but it does need to be something that gets focused on. Would you go for Julian Alvarez from Atletico Madrid this evening? He just scored. Did you see that free kick? Like, that free kick was fucking unreal. I did a video about a month ago on Julian Alvarez, if you want to go check that out, and I gave my thoughts as to why I think he would be a superb player. His stats were just out of this world. He put Nunez and Jota to shame. Alvarez is someone I'd love. The only problem you've got is I think Madrid would break the bank because they've not long signed him. He's on a long-term contract. He's not playing bad either. Like, he's their best player, arguably. And I think given the fact that he's getting the numbers that he is in Diego Simeone's defensive-minded setup, and even though Atletico have they fell hard this season, he's still getting the stats that he is, says just how good he is. Atletico will charge you through the arse just to get a chance at buying him. So I would love him, but I do think he'd be too expensive. I think he'd be more expensive than Wirtz, and Wirtz is the one that I would rather have. I'd rather Wirtz as a false nine because I think he can do that. Please do click the like button. Yeah, we're almost at 5,000 subs as well, so if everyone wants to press that, that'd be incredible. 340 away at the minute, so yeah, thank you very much for that. Where was I? Yeah, Alvarez. I'd be happy with him. Don't get me wrong. I'd be more than happy if we signed Julian Alvarez. I think he's a Darwin Nunez type player in the sense of he likes running behind, but he's actually competent of finishing and he can actually shoot. But just like I said, I think Madrid will just charge you through the arse just to even get near him. And they're not in a position where they need to sell. The only reason I can think he may leave is if he thinks I can do better than Atletico. Coming to us, yeah, probably, but they're not going to miss out on Champions League football, even though I think they're third or fourth at the moment. I suppose he's doing well in the system. He's not someone that they're in a desperate need to sell. I think Florian Wirtz he's wanting to leave Leverkusen. He's in discussions, so you can negotiate. You can get a bit of wiggle room for him. Whereas Alvarez has made no indication that he wants to leave Atletico, and he's going to cost you upwards of 120 million, which Florian Wirtz will probably do as well. But you can negotiate a bit, and I'd rather him as the false nine than I would sign Julian Alvarez. But that's not to say he's bad. Far fucking from it. He's one of the best attackers in Europe at the moment. I'd be happy either way. On that, actually, I want to see what is what are his stats like? Because like I said, I did the video, but it was about a month ago, so I don't know if anything's majorly changed. His biggest thing was progressive carries. I remember that. Like, he was a monster on progressive carries because he likes picking up the ball and he likes actually running into space with it. So we'll get his La Liga stats here and compare it to all the other attackers. So, yeah, remembering it absolutely right. Let me just see if I can present that. Share screen. Where are we? Julian Alvarez. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, progressive passes, progressive carries, successful take-ons, progressive passes received, and that was the big one where he likes running behind. He likes receiving the ball from people, and I think that's the sort of player that hasn't worked under Slot. I think that's why Nunez has struggled. I think Slot wants someone who's going to pick up the ball and make things happen. He doesn't want someone who's just going to try and run in behind, because if you're doing that, we don't have a creator now with Trent going. You haven't got someone who can put that ball in behind. We're better with it and running with it, like Dominic Szoboszlai. Jeremie Frimpongs is going to be that type of player. And I think Alvarez, while he is a terrific, like, playing in the lines, getting in behind and actually making stuff happen that end, I don't think he's necessarily going to fit Slot's system. Because I think if he did, Nunez would have worked, even though he kicks like a donkey and just runs like one as well. Like, I sound harsh when I'm saying it, but he's just dog shit, and I'm done with him. Simeone said on Spanish TV rated that he loves Darwin Nunez. Atletico would tweet for Darwin. That's what I mean. That is the thing. Darwin Nunez and Julian Alvarez play such a similar style in the sense of they are not too good on the ball. I mean, Alvarez is great on the ball. Nunez isn't. But their main strength is their speed. And we saw that with City. Like, his positioning is fantastic. His ability to run in behind, square off to someone, and then be in the right place. The nice 1-2s he does. I think if we were to swap Nunez with Julian Alvarez and pay a little bit of money, because we'd be paying, let's be honest, he's rumoured to be about 60, 65 million. fine. I think that's a good deal. I just know that I'd rather Florian Wirtz personally, but I'm a bit of a look. I don't know half the shit I talk about. I'll be honest. I just sort of turn up and smile. Um, but if that's true, I mean, if Diego Simeone wants Nunez, you can fucking have him. I'm not keeping him. I don't intend on having him at the club next season. If I was in charge, I think he runs like Stevie Wonder on ice, and I cannot be arsed with it anymore. I see every conversation just goes back to Darwin Nunez. I just I can't stomach another season of watching Nunez run like he's in treacle. I just can't do it. He just I think there is a class player in Darwin Nunez. I think he's someone who you could easily if you sent him to La Liga, if you sent him to Saudi Arabia, if you sent him to the Bundesliga, even arguably, I think he would absolutely smash it. Maybe Benfica could have him back because they've just bottled the Portuguese league. Fine, I'm happy either way. I think there's a great player there. Julian Alvarez is the same style player. He's better than Nunez. Don't get me wrong. Like in every aspect, maybe not in the air, but he's every other aspect. He's fantastic, and I think he'd do better for us but I don't know. He's not someone I break the absolute bank for. But anyway, I've veered off topic. Thank you. So like, put the comments in. Keep asking any questions you want. By the way, if you've got any topics that you want for top tens, let me know because. Not that I'm running out of ideas. I've got dozens and dozens, but there's so many people who suggest ones to me that I think I never thought of that. So if you can think of any, let me know. But yeah, Jeremie Frimpong, more than happy with it. I think he's someone who can add another dimension to our game. He's a nice rotation option, not just for Conor Bradley, but for Salah as well. And maybe when that happens, we're going to go to like a 3-5-3 kind of thing. Stevie Wonder on ice. Yeah, genuinely, it is like watching Stevie Wonder on ice. It's like watching a log run through treacle. I can't stomach it anymore. And just yeah. That's going to be some horrible noise down the microphone. Um, Jeremy Frimpong, yeah. I love doing these streams so much. Yeah, Jeremy Frimpong, great player, bought him for cheap, and I think as well that's another thing. Like, if he is joining on like a 5-year deal, if it doesn't work, you're going to get a higher fee for him in a year or two. And like I said, he's someone who's going to add another dimension to our game. He can play right back. He can play right wing back. He can play right winger. Attacking wise, he's so good at going inverted, Jeremy Frimpong. And it's the overlaps that are going to really solidify him as a top quality player because you see his heat map a lot this season. I'll get it up now for you. Let me see if I can. Jeremie Frimpong. There we go. That's the one. That's the one. Let me see if I can get that stream that up. I'm still fairly new to this sort of thing for this StreamYard. There we go. Jeremie Frimpong. That's the one. That's his heat map, and you see just how much he operates in that bottom right corner, like the attacking area. That's where he thrives, and that's where he's going to spend the majority of his time. Because what does Salah need? What did he against Chelsea? Our biggest strength was when Conor Bradley came on because he brought energy and he was actually running at Chelsea's defence and he wasn't sitting back like a little bitch and trying to pick out passes that weren't there. He was running at them and he was making things happen on the far right hand side. That is what Jeremy Frimpong's going to do because towards the end of the season, Salah has been ganged up on like 2-on-1 at all times. He's not been able to make anything happen because Trent doesn't make those runs anymore. Conor Bradley does, but he's been injured. Jeremy Frimpong is going to add another dimension to Salah's attack because there's going to be another player that everyone has to worry about. It's the same with Bradley. You don't know who you're going to have to go to. Is the centre back going to go to Salah? Are they going to go to Jeremy Frimpong? You don't know. But, you know, there's Nunez would score goals. Atletico defenders here are so crap. Bloody Farmers Spanish League. Okay. I didn't know you. You were used to La Liga. That's sick. I mean, you can have him. I'm more than happy if you want to take Nunez. Crack on. Who is the best centre back at the minute in La Liga? I assume it'd be like Barcelona, like a Rayo or something. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very happy about Frimpong. We've got him on a cheap deal. The medical is taking place. Some of it's going to take place tomorrow. The deal is probably going to get announced tomorrow. Number 30 shirt for him. Absolutely fine. it's something that's very low risk because, like I said, I think he's a player who will do well in a multitude of teams. Don't expect an out and out defender at right back because you're not going to get it. He's not that person. He is someone who's good at attacking. He can track back when you need him to, but don't get fooled by his defensive stats. He's had to play in like a 3-5-2 formation, and he's not someone who is going to come back. It's not been his job to defend. It's not been his role to come back and defend. And it does get lost on people that when you've got three at the back, he can track back, and he has done it at moments, but he's been in a Leverkusen team who've been second in the Bundesliga, but dominated most of their matches. It's not been his job to come back and defend. It's his job to get the ball and then run at the opposition defense. He make things happen going forward. So don't get fooled by the stats like I did, because I thought Jeremie Frimpong was going to be a crap signing, and he probably won't be. Fingers crossed, touch wood. If he is, you bought him for 30 million, you can flog him for double that. Absolutely fine. It's a win-win scenario. Give him the number 30 if you want to. I wanted to see him with the number 66 as a big fuck you to Trent, and that would have been that. But, you know, he got a whole leave and do today, which that seemed to really piss people off, is Trent getting the summer of 66. What is utter bollocks? The summer of 66. I don't remember a summer of number 7 when Milner was leaving. I don't remember a summer of number 9 when Roberto Firmino was leaving. Trent's getting a summer of 66 barbecue thing, which apparently he's paid for. Oh, good for him. He put more effort into the fucking leaving barbecue than he did reading out the goodbye message off the teleprompter. Stop putting money into making the fucking burgers on the grill. Speak from the heart rather than reading off a bastard teleprompter to tell us you're leaving because you want to fulfill your dream at Real Madrid. It is an utter joke that. You know what? I suppose we're on the trend topic. I can't help but moan about the trend topic. I should be over it now because we're getting Frimpong. Very excited again. Summer of 66, what a joke. It's wank. It is utter wank. The Summer of 66 is a bunch of bollocks. He put more effort into that fucking barbecue than he did the actual, when he was leaving and he was doing the message and he was reading off a teleprompter and you could see his little eyes going back and forth. Utter bollocks. And you know what? I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve a goodbye. I think he is someone who has given us arguably his best years. And, you know, it's something that if he wants to do it, like Salah said the other day, and the reaction on the pitch when he got booed, and the boo thing, we're not going to go down. I've given my thoughts on it on BBC. I've given my thoughts on it here. I've done it on Redmen. I stand by. I think the booing was fine at first, but not while he was on the pitch playing. This whole, you know, he's entitled to leave how he wants. He's entitled to say his farewells because they are his mates at the end of the day. They're his teammates. They understand why he's doing it. And Salah spoke a bit of sense the other day. But he's put so much effort into that. And you've got people saying, like, captioning it, saying, live your dream, go live your dream. Your dream was to be here. All right? Not to go to Real Madrid. I'm sure that was at some point in your mind, you probably thought, oh, Real Madrid would be nice to play for, but you can't 1 minute have a dream of playing for us, and then the next minute be like, nah, fuck yeah, I'm off. My dream's always been to play at Real Madrid. Bollocks. That Breck Road comment from his family is also a disgrace. I don't remember that bit. You'll have to tell me the Breck Road comment, because that bit's completely missed my mind, to be completely honest. I've been in work today and I've been seeing glimpses of the Summer of 66 and little fragments of the video and the photos of him taken with the players and, ooh, look what he's done. Yeah, if you can try and find it for me, that'd be class. Sorry about, is the 66 Keith in relation to Trent? You might need a name change if it is, I'm afraid. Mo Salah, 7-season wonder. Mate, hope he wins the Golden Boot. He's the best player in the world, period. You'll never walk alone. He will win the Golden Boot. He's got that nailed on now, Mo Salah winning the Golden Boot. I think he's a good number ahead. Isak missed the Arsenal game today, and I think he was third. Haaland hasn't scored for ages. Definitely didn't score yesterday. Fucking get out the FA Cup, will you? Used to be 6-6. I like that. I hope that's Slipknot. Really hope that is. Yeah, Salah winning the Golden Boot. I'm not set on him winning the Ballon d'Or anymore. I think Jamal's got that in the bag at this point, or Rafinha. I think the season Barca have had winning the treble in their league. He's stole the show in pretty much every aspect. And oh my god, it is. I love it. I went to go see Slipknot in December. I'm well happy with that. losing my topic, but um, yeah, Yamal is going to win the Ballon d'Or, I think, or Rafinha maybe. I don't see Salah winning it, even though it is bollocks. We won the Premier League. He did what he did in the Champions League. I understand he faded off a bit in the PSG games and towards the end of the season, yada yada. But Yamal is probably going to win it, and I think that's just because of his age. I think that's because of the goals he's scoring. He has Rodri won the Ballon d'Or since the Euros. That won't factor into it, but I feel like somehow it will. The Ballon d'Ors are just fucking rigged anyway. It's all a bunch of crap. Yamal, yeah, he'll probably win it. I don't see Salah, but which is a shame because I think Salah's absolutely deserved it. I think if you're doing what he's doing in this league to this level, where he's one away from equaling the record set by Alan Shearer, you know, uh, do not get me started on Trent. You can start. You go for it. He told us big time, legacy tarnished. His mural should get fucking taken down. Van Dijk's getting one. Yamal is scoring more towards the back end of the season, and people have short-term memories. A real shame for Mo. Yeah, look, I completely agree. I think because Yamal's been scoring these ridiculous goals on his left foot recently, that suddenly people think he's the greatest in the world, and he is for his age. Like, let's not take that away from him. He's been class, but I think Salah has been doing it consistently all season. He has dipped off a little bit recently. I think his only goal contributions have been against Tottenham. Fuck it, fine. But that was the match which won us the league. He's won the league. He's done it in the manner of which he has. He's done it in the hardest league on the planet. He's equaling records for players that broke the records when we had 42 matches in the division, not 38. He's done amazing in the Champions League. He's unreal. Like, Mo Salah is the best right winger on the planet. Yamal's just been the best right winger for the past like week or two. Salah has been the best. I will stand by that statement. He deserves to win the Ballon d'Or, even though it is just all corrupt bollocks. And I stand by. I do think he's the best right winger. Yamal is ridiculous for his age. I don't. The comparisons to Messi, I understand why they're coming. Don't do them, because what's the point? Like, Bojan was compared to Messi at one point. Don't start doing all that. But yeah, he has been scoring more towards the end. But yeah, the Trent thing this summer of 66. If anyone wants to put any comments in, by the way, go for it. I'll answer them all. I'll respond to every comment that you put in, as long as it's nothing too offensive. Like, crack on. But yeah, this Trent thing, like, he's entitled to say how he wants to go, and if he wants to celebrate it with the lads, absolutely fine. And I saw a statement that was that the club put out, not the club, but people around the club who were saying that it was meant to be a small event. It wasn't meant to come out to the public as much as it did because of obviously the hostility going around and everything going on. Well, don't fucking have people post it on their Instagrams then, tagging them in it saying "live your dream." Fucking bollocks. Live your dream. Just fuck off. Mural, fuck you, Trent. You will just be another dark horse club player. Yeah, no, the mural's gone. Van Dijk is getting his mural, which I think looks amazing so far, by the way, from Walls or Muir Walls even. I can't pronounce shit. I'm sorry. That looks class, and he's deserving of it. He's got like a mini one in the town centre next to Einstein's, but it's shared with Diaz, I think it is. I walked past it the other day, and yeah. I sub to you, I do you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Put your channel name, tag it, send me the link, and I'll make sure to subscribe back. Everyone else, make sure to click like and subscribe. I'll go for a little bit longer anyway, because I love doing these streams. It's really, really enjoyable. The more sort of, I always plan out what I want to say, and it just goes to shit. It just turns into a bit of a rant therapy session. So if you've got anything you want to put in, track on, talk to me about Frimpong, talk to me about Conor Bradley, Trent, all of it, because I'll respond to all of them. Honestly, I think there's a lot of things that people still want to say. The Van Dijk mural, though, I am over the moon that he's finally getting one. I think it's more than deserving. He absolutely deserves one. My channel name is Jordan Hyman. Let me double check your thing. Give me 2 seconds. I've got my phone right here. Jordan Hyman. Hey, you do. Wow, you're. I mean, 2.2. That's sick. To be fair. Let's have a look. Just everyone. Yeah, that was really, really shit quality. I do apologise, but yeah, everyone make sure you go subscribe. Nevada Linton Trent's cousin responds to a comment saying, "The summer 616, you can tell you're from Breck Road, never had a penny." Fuck off. Piss off. I mean, he is from he's from Liverpool. He can make those sort of jokes, but I think don't start giving the Scouse banter when you're fucking us off to go to Spain. Yamal has already been compared to Messi. He has. And look, like I said, I get it. I completely understand why the comparisons are happening because he's the age he is, he's doing what he's doing, and he is scoring ridiculous goals. Like he is he's 17, and I think at 17 I was up in my room playing Xbox like a little dork, and he's scoring those type of goals for Barcelona. It is fucking unreal what he's doing. And don't get me wrong, like the issue you've got is so many of these players will start off extremely high caliber, like absolutely flying. You look at in the past how many players have actually been compared to Messi. Like Ansu Fati was one recently, just as a recent example. Bojan used to get compared to Messi all the time. So many players. Munir at one point, he was being like compared to Messi. Yamal is someone who was doing it because what he's doing at the moment is out of this world good, but they can have a detrimental effect and it can be deterrent. And I think, like, someone, just as an example from Liverpool, I think Luis Diaz struggled with the Sadio Mane comparisons for a long time. Gakpo started getting him to Firmino. You do get those comparisons because of the position you play in and the player you are. Yamal getting compared to Messi at this age, while it is an amazing thing, and we've all seen that photo of Messi with baby Yamal, and people are like, well, that must be the moment it transferred over, like it's some sort of STI or something. Like, you know, it's great, and I'm happy that he is getting the comparisons because he's club legend. But you know, um, also, just want to say, love the content, mate. Thank you very much. The season reviews are pretty sweet. There's always some great facts in there I never knew about. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. There's another one of them coming very soon. The last one I did, I like the last two where I was talking about Paul Dalglish and Steven Gerrard. I was really struggling for the end. I won't lie. If you've got a fact that you didn't know that I told you about, comment it and let me know, because there's certain ones that like blew my mind in particular. So, really appreciate the positive feedback. If anyone's got any list videos that they want me to do in the future, put them in the comments. I'm sure I'll get around to doing them. If you've got a fact from one of them that you want to put in, go for it. Real Madrid is everything the opposite Liverpool stands for. I mean, not winning European Cups, because no one can match us for that in England. But look, I think Real Madrid have just seen an opportunity and they took it. And Trent is a look. I don't know how to put this where I'm not going to get like disliked and criticised. Trent is a Liverpool player. He's a Scouser. He's been with us since he was a kid. He's been with us 20 years. He's got Real Madrid level talent in the sense of they go for those otherworldly, mercurial, galactico talents like they did with Beckham, like they did Michael Owen, they did with Raul and Ronaldo, and all these amazing players. What Trent does on a pitch is out of this world, and we all know that. Like he can do things with the ball that no one else can. Like he gets compared to De Bruyne, who's one of the best passers of our generation, certainly Premier League era, definitely. And Trent gets those comparisons because he's of that level. He gets compared to like Steven Gerrard's passing and Paul Scholes and Frank Lampard, etc., etc. And he's got that aura about him of he's a brand. Trent is a brand. He's someone who's very marketable. He's a good looking lad. He's a very talented player. And Real Madrid like those types. Mbappe was a big one. Neymar was another big one. Messi. I'm getting all my players mixed up. Sorry, I'm getting completely mixed up with PSG. Sorry, Mbappe, Real Madrid. They go for those type of players, and Trent is like that. What he can do on a pitch is like unfathomable, and he feels like a Real Madrid player in that sense. We're heartbroken because he's come from us and he's a Scouser and he's been for us 20 plus years and he's spanned this story about it, and it's disappointing, yes. But I can understand Real Madrid have just been opportunistic, is the point I'm getting at. They've seen someone who can do something that no one else can, and they could get him for free. And Madrid will always have pull and power. They've won more European Cups than anyone on the planet. They won the first 5 in a row. They've won 3 in a row recently. Like, they do still have pull and power. And obviously, I'm going to sit here and say, well, we're Liverpool. We've got more pull and power. But that's my red-tinted spectacles talking. I have that perspective because I love this club. Like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say we're shit and we can't pull players because we can. We've done it with Frimpong over like the likes of Man City and Bayern Munich and even Real Madrid possibly. Like, I get why they've done it. It's opportunistic. He's a big name. He's marketable. He's one of the most recognizable characters in European and world football, but that doesn't make his sting any less. And to say that Real Madrid are the opposite of us, they are in some regards, absolutely. But I think if the foot was on the other foot, the foot was on the other foot. If the shoe was on the other foot, then I can't. If we did it, I can't say I'd be disappointed because it's a good deal. Yamal under the wing of slot in this team. We've got Salah. We don't need Yamal. Yamal can get in the bin because we've got the best right winger on planet Earth. I'm happy with the signing Frimpong for the Dutch. Yeah, Frimpong. Very happy that we've signed Jeremie Frimpongs. I think adding a different layer to our attack gives us a bit more diversity, and that's something with Slot. Like I said in the 10 biggest positives from Slot's first season video, we are so adaptable now. We can either sit back and defend, or we can lump the ball forward, or we can play possession football. And I think Frimpong will he'll give you a lot of diversity, a lot of different options in your play. He can make us more direct. He can offer us an extra layer of defense if we need it, even though people say he can't defend, which isn't true. If we want to lump the ball long, he will run in behind. And I'm excited to see what he can do in a Liverpool shirt. I really, really am. He's going to my fantasy team next season, I can tell you that now. Mbappe is not it anymore. I don't agree personally. I mean, he's had. I think it was someone I saw the other day that he's scored more goals in his debut season for Real Madrid than any other player has in their history. And you've got like Ronaldo, or both the Ronaldos, Raul, Michael Owen, Fernando Moriente. Like, there's a good few players there that he's competing with. Figo is another one. So to say he's not it anymore, I think it's just because I think people expected him to turn up at Madrid and bang like 60 goals in a season, sort of what Haaland did in the Premier League, and he wasn't going to do that. But Madrid fans booing him the other day, I just think it's petty, and Trent's in for a rough ride if he starts having a bad game or two. Talking makes it first. Pulling power, Franco's Dark Arts Club. Might need a bit more context with that. I'm not gonna lie. Pulling power, yeah, we've got pulling power. We signed Frimpong. We got Jeremie Frimpong. Let's get on to the next day or two. And yeah, what does everyone think of Conor Bradley's contract? Because I'm very happy with it. I'm absolutely over the moon. Let me know in the comments what you think of that one. But we do have another one actually to discuss because this is one that I think. Oh, bear with me actually before I carry on. On another note, I hope Chiesa stays. That smiles infectious. Chiesa's a great. You know what? We can talk about Federico Chiesa because I made my thoughts on it very clear the other day. I did a video 10 players most likely to leave Liverpool recently, and I think Chiesa was he was fifth, I think, or fourth. I don't want Chiesa to leave personally, and I think Slot's comments the other day have sort of confirmed the fact that look, we want him to stay, but if he does decide that he wants to leave, absolutely fine. I think Chiesa needs his chance. I understand that, like Slot said, he's gone through the first half of the season. He's not been fit. He's not been at his best. He had a really bad injury. He's come back from that. He's had knocks. He's basically had pre-season like halfway through our season. I hope he gets his opportunity because when he's played, I've seen nothing from Chiesa that's made me think, you're crap. We got him for 10 million. We just need to keep that in mind. Like we said, like Federico Chiesa for £10 million to 12 million. Free of him is one Jeremie Frimpong in terms of price, and Jeremie Frimpong's a steal. That's going to be my basis now for transfers, like cost and value and etc. etc. I hope Chiesa does stay because I think he's a very direct player. He's not had a bad game apart from Plymouth, and if that was the game that we were really basing his Liverpool career off of, no one in that team was good. And I'd argue that Chiesa was in the top 3 players that day, and everyone was dog shit. So if you're doing that, you're also getting rid of Harvey Elliott. You're also getting rid of Curtis Jones. You're getting rid of Joe Gomez and Quansah and Jota. Like, everyone is going. But I think Chiesa can offer you something. He is very good with the ball at his feet. He's a great shot. We saw that against Accrington. I was there for that. We've seen it against Newcastle in the League Cup, PSV. I thought he looked really good. The Bournemouth match, his first game, like he does have good moments, Federico Chiesa, and he is someone who's very talented. And I just think that he can offer us an extra layer of attack. And there's no point getting rid of him when he's not doing anything wrong. he's not doing anything. He's £10 million. You're keeping him around. He's not one of the most expensive players in the squad, and I think he can give you an extra lever. He's versatile up front. He played left wing against PSV. He played through the middle against Newcastle at points. He plays on the right. He's an extra player there. I see no reason to get rid of him unless he wants to go. I know Napoli were being linked from. I know Fiorentina were being linked. Fine. If he is one of these players who just wants to spend his career in Italy, absolutely fine. Jesus Navas did that with Sevilla. He left for one season to City and then went straight back. Some players are comfortable doing that. I just don't want to see Chiesa personally go yet. Buzzing about Bradley and Frimpong shows intent. I'm probably living in dreamland, but I think we'll end up getting Vert. I don't think you're living in dreamland. I think there's every chance that we could get Florian Wirtz, and I hope we do. And I hope we play him as a false nine because I think he's got all the qualities to play as a false nine. And actually, I'll do the comparison thing for that in a moment because that's something that a lot of people missed in the recent video I did on Florian Wirtz, where I was comparing him to a certain player that we've had, and the stats really did blow my mind. And I'll do that in a moment. I think if you sign Wirtz, he can play as a false nine. I think he'd get the best out of Frimpong. I think Frimpong would get the best out of him. I'd be very excited to see that. But just before we get onto that, there's another there's a rumor mill going around at the moment with regards to another player, and this is one that I think does divide attention, or not attention. Sorry, this is the one that divides opinion, and that is this Luis Diaz. Now, I want to know where everyone sort of stands on Diaz because I'm very much. I like Luis Diaz, but I wouldn't be crying if he left. Yeah, I'll give it a minute or two just to sort of, if anyone wants to get the comments in on Luis Diaz, because I don't know, it's not one that I would be crying over if he was to leave this summer. Why isn't he playing in the Premier League then? Mbappe knows the defenders in the Farmers League are crap. Again, it's just maybe money. Maybe it's just Real Madrid, the lure of them. He said he wants to play for them, similar to what Trent said. I think to say that it's in the Spanish league, in the Liga, if you're not playing in the Premier League, you can't be considered one of the best. I mean, Messi's the greatest of all time, and he spent his whole career in the Liga bar from when he went to PSG and then MLS, and that was towards the end. I think replacing Diaz would be difficult given the market for players in that position. It would be. And this is the big thing that does sort of make me think, well, maybe keeping him is the better option. On one hand, I think with Luis Diaz, you've got a player who started the season on fire. Luis Diaz was a terrific run of form. He scored the first 3 games against Ipswich, Brentford, and that Man United game, he dominated them. He's at the Bayer Leverkusen game where he got the hat-trick. Ipswich, West Ham, Tottenham, the 6-3 early this season. Luis Diaz is a good player. My issue is I think he's reached his level. Now, what I mean by that is Diaz is not someone who likes having the ball at feet and then he's got defenders in front of him. Because I feel like whenever Luis Diaz tries to beat a player, he tends to just end up crammed in the corner. He tends to run himself into danger. He's not like a Cody Gakpo who's comfortable getting the ball at feet and then tries to cut back inside. He's or someone who will slow the play down. Luis Diaz wants to go quick. He wants to be fast. That's why as a number 9, it worked for a good while this season because he had space to run into. Against Leverkusen, he thrived because there's so many gaps in behind. But this is the big issue. Diaz is too inconsistent. Now, I will get up Luis Diaz. Let me just take this off the screen for you all so that I can so you can see my beautiful face while I get these stats. Luis Diaz stats this season. So we'll go to Transfermarkt because he started off so well. And I think there was a real feeling that under Slot, he was going to get better and better, and he was just going to absolutely thrive and smash it. There we go. So let's see if I can present this. Present, share screen. I will get quicker at doing this one day. I absolutely promise to you all. Luis Diaz. Not bothered about that. Go away. So, what have we got here? So, first few games flew. goal against Brentford and an assist against Brentford. Oh, he didn't score against Ipswich. It was Jota and Salah. That's my mistake. Do apologise. He got 2 against Man United. He got 2 against Bournemouth. And then it just sort of got the assist against Arsenal, assist against Man City, got the brace against Tottenham. He got the goal against West Ham, a goal and assist against Wolves. That was terrific. Went 3 assists, 2 goals, gap, 1, nothing, goal. So, like, he's had patches. Now, this season, a big problem that Liverpool have had has been the over-reliance at points on Salah. And I think that Salah has definitely... He's compensated for a lot of the lack of attacking quality from other players in this team. Nunez, Jota at points, Cody Gakpo at the start of the season, and I think Diaz for that big chunk in the middle there, where that's, how many games is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Premier League games without a goal. He then gets 3 and 3 because he was on the bench for Leicester, didn't come off against them. Then you've got, 6 games there without a goal. Then you've got another 5 there without a goal. You can't be doing that if you're a left winger. And maybe at points we've been spoiled by Mane, because Mane was just ridiculously good for a left winger in terms of goals. And I do think Diaz struggled with those comparisons a lot. He was someone who... because Mane was, we were aware that he was probably on the way out. The buy-in stuff was coming up a lot more frequently. We signed Diaz the January before he left. It made sense that, you know, he was going to get those comparisons. And he did really well at first. He has had a lot of injuries since coming to Liverpool, but he is just too inconsistent. And we can't be relying on someone who, you know, this patch here, the assist, goal, nothing, goal. That's what we want. And we're probably spoiled for that, because we're spoiled for choice up front. This is the thing. We're not in a scenario like we were in 2017-18, where if you lose Mane, you're fucked, because your options are Xherdan Shaqiri or Divock Origi. We're not like 2013-14, where it's Daniel Sturridge and Suarez. One of them comes off. Who have you got? You've got Iago Aspas, and we didn't even have Fabio Borini that season. It was Aspas and was Samad Yassil there? I don't think he was. But anyway, this is my point, though. We're spoiled for choice up front now. Diaz is not a very consistent player. I love Diaz and Gakpo. If I had to choose which one would leave, I would sell Diaz when compared to Gakpo. When we needed a goal, Gakpo was always living. To be fair to Diaz, like, he has come up trumps in some of... So which of these games have we got here? Let me just start from the top. So Brentford, that was a 2-0. 2 against Bournemouth, 2 against United. Yeah, fair enough. The Arsenal assist, that's pretty vital, but he's not there to really be an assister. Then started playing centre forward, 2 against Tottenham. The West Ham was a drubbing. The Wolves one, we won that 2-1. I'd say that's a vital goal. He scored in the 71st minute, of course. The loss to Fulham, 2-1 against West Ham. You know, that was he scored in that one. That was a... You know, Arsenal, the draw recently, which I know the league was already won at that point, but he does come up with those big goals, I suppose, in big moments, and he has done in the past. But we'll go to Cody Gakpo. Let me go to Cody Gakpo's stats and see what we're saying about him. So, let me just stop sharing that one. 1 second. There we go. That's me. But I'm in agreement. I think if I had to choose one who I would prefer to sell, it would be Diaz. I think Gakpo just offers you a bit more. I think he's better in slot system. Like I said, Diaz is he prefers running behind. He's a very direct style of winger, but he does feel sort of get your head down, get moving, and just run at them deal, and that doesn't work. And this is perfectly emblematic of what I was saying then about Diaz. I've gone onto the wrong thing there. So, obviously, we talked about how in the first few games, Diaz was smashing the division. You know, he scored against Brentford, scored against Man United, and Gakpo was sort of nowhere to be seen. When we had that initial dip at the beginning, or when Diaz did, that's when Gakpo did, Diaz was there to take over. They then just completely swapped. Gakpo got the goal against Man City. He got the goal against Fulham. He then got a goal and assist, a goal against Man United, and that 2-2 draw. 2 goals, 1 assist. 1 assist against Bournemouth. Had a couple of injuries, and then he's come back and he's been pretty inconsistent with regards to his, you know, contribution goals and assists. But I want to look at the stats with them, like the actual comparison head-to-head stats, because I I don't know. I think Gakpo would probably be better suited. I just think that he would probably be a player who would. I don't know. I just see more from him, and I might just be completely being based. Let's see if I can find the comparisons. That's FB brief. FB brief. Stats head compare player comparison. Doing all this on the fly, it doesn't really makes it hard. There we go. Cody Gakpo, Cristiano Ronaldo. We don't need Mohamed Salah. We don't need Lionel Messi. We don't need Jamal Mbappe. None of them. So we've got Luis Diaz. And we're going to do the 2024-25 season. Let's get our results for that. Okay, so I suppose the big one that we're going to be looking for to start with, let me just see if I can. There we go. Should be getting a lot more likes. I don't know how many likes I'm on, actually. If anyone could sort of tell me, that'd be swell, because it'll probably be like 2 or 3 or something like that. I tend not to get likes on these. Let's have a look then. Cody, player comparison, Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz. So shoot 'em. So you've got Cody Gakpo, 10 goals to Diaz's 13. That's just in the Premier League, by the way. This is not every stat in every division even. This is just literally the Premier League. Just let me open my... There we go, before I get into all these. Ooh, I went down smooth. Where are we? Playing that. So Cody Gakpo's managing less shots. He's getting less on target. Overall percentage goes to Diaz. So shooting, talking about Luis Diaz, but don't forget that he has had a lot of games as a number 9 as well. And that's a big thing that comes into this is Gakpo has always been a left winger this season. He's not been moved into the middle. He's not been. Occasionally they will rotate during matches, but it's not been his preferred position. He's also played less than Diaz, which does have a big impact. But the fact that he's played 19.8 full 90 compared to Luis Diaz's 25.6, and he's still managing a similar range of shooting, tells you a lot about just how good Gakpo is off the left in terms of shooting at goal. Diaz, who has played through the middle and as left winger, is managing 14 more shots with just 7 more on target, with a lot more game time and a lot more freedom in attack. This is, like I said, this is just the Premier League. Cody Gakpo is exceeding his XG 6.9 and 11.3. So passing. This is the big one. So Diaz, to be fair, he's got actually a higher pass completed percentage. I didn't expect that. I thought Gakpo was going to have them much higher. Maybe Diaz is because he does pass and move. Maybe that'll be something that factors into it. Short, medium, long. I think that's the big, long. I can't remember many Diaz's. He does switch the ball, I guess, from time to time, but I don't know. I think Gakpo for me just seems like the more viable threat going forward. Pass types, Luis Diaz, he has a lot more live because he likes to run with it. He likes to keep the ball moving, whereas Gakpo's comfortable taking it, stop and play, slowing it down to the speed that he needs. Goal and shot creation, Luis Diaz has 117 shot creating actions as compared to Cody Gakpo's 72. Cody Gakpo feels a lot more like the finisher, more so than he is the creator. I don't know. These really don't. Maybe we are just being a bit sort of blind to Luis Diaz. I just think he's too inconsistent, Luis Diaz, in terms of what he does in front of goal. He does have the miss that he had the other day against Arsenal was woeful. I don't know. It's difficult to say. He's got better defensive actions. He's getting more touches, more take-ons, but Gakpo's obviously got the higher success percent because Diaz, that's his big issue with me personally is I think that Diaz just runs into the corner so many times. He gets outran and he just runs into danger, stands there like a lemon, and he can beat a man. Don't get me wrong, he is very, very capable of beating a player, but I just think Gakpo is the sort of... He feels like the more complete article. I mean, he's better in the air. I think he's a better shot than Diaz. He's able to slow play down to what slot wants. Diaz feels like he has to run in behind. Don't get me wrong. I love Luis Diaz, but he is not on Sadio Mane's level. Very few are. Very few are. The Black Panther was fire, teaming up with Salah and Bobby Firmino. I at first thought you meant the film Black Panther. I like Black Panther. Black Panther was a great Marvel film. It's not my favorite, but teaming up with Salah and Bobby Firmino, yeah. I mean, that's the dream trio up front. Salah, Firmino, and Mane. Makes you like, it really does make you wonder. Like when you're watching that, you think, "Oh, pff, gonna have this forever," and now they're gone. Salah's the only one there, and I miss seeing that front three play. And I was seeing highlights of it the other day of Mane's link up with Salah after this whole interview came out where Mane said that him and Salah didn't really get on, or Salah said that him and Mane didn't get on, one or the other. But they were, you know, it's a working relationship. They were both capable of working together to make good things happen. And you just think, fucking hell, like the passes that they would make for each other, the way they played, the connection they had, and they didn't get on. Like, that's incredible that they were able to do the things that they were able to do. Ah. Um, I suppose we'll shoot off in a second. Um, If anyone's got any more questions that they want to put in, I'm happy to answer whatever. Just any questions that you've got, guys, go for it. If you want to suggest any top tens that you'd like to see, by all means, crack on and get them involved in the comments and let me know if there's anything that you'd like to ask. Any questions, go for it. That front three was the best in the world. Football, in my opinion, loved them three. It was. It was such an incredible front line to have. And it is you don't realize how good they were until they were. It is that proper old saying of like, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. And I miss it so much. And I will do a list one day of my 10 favorite ever Liverpool players. Maybe when I've got a bit more of a following and people tend to give a shit what I say, but one of those front three is in there. And he is he was transformative. He could still, it could be Salah. We don't know. I'm not. It's yeah. I think everyone's sort of deducing who I'm talking about here. That Bobby footwork, yeah, Bobby. What he did was transformative up front. I think he was the false nine. He invented false nine, as far as I'm concerned, because so many had done it in the past, and you had your centre forwards, and you had your players that would, they were new and they would try these things, but no one could do it like Bobby could. No one could play false nine like Bobby Firmino could. He was the best at it, and I think he is the gold standard for false nine in world football. And there was always comparisons with Salah to the likes of Suarez and Fernando Torres. I think Bobby was better for Liverpool than Fernando Torres was. Take away all the silverware, take away what he achieved, winning the Premier League, winning the Champions League, winning the FA Cup, the Club World Cup, the Super Cup, the League Cups, like just take all that out of it. Bobby Firmino as a player was levels above Fernando Torres. I think he is better for him. When Salah first joined, I thought he was going to be Mane, understudy. How long was I such a player? I didn't think Salah was going to be at this level. No one could have foreseen. If you'd have said to me, like, Salah is going to become the best right winger on planet fucking Earth, I would have, I would have laughed in your face. Nah, Kenny and Peter Dalglish first, even though they did have a strike partner. Sorry, I mean like in the modern era. Like I wasn't around during Kenny Dalglish's time, so and like Peter, I've got no frame of reference for it personally. All I've seen is what I've gone back and watched. I mean, in the modern day where the 4-3-3 has become like this juggernaut of a formation, and you've had a lot of players who have played as a centre forward. I think Bobby is the gold standard at the moment for that in the modern day of football. Premier League era, yeah, definitely. Overall in Liverpool, like I said, I can't argue with the king. King Kenny for a reason. Peter Beardsley again. It's before my time. 2004 is when I started watching. I've actually got my match ticket. Hang on. It's my first ticket from it doesn't help that the lights really crap, but yeah. 2004. Doesn't help that the camera is really, really bad with that lighting. But yeah, Norwich 2004, that was my first. There's my ticket for it. So that's when I started watching. I've got no frame of reference of Kenny Dalglish. I've only had to go back and see what I've seen on video and books and, everything like that. The data science lad who picked most of Julian Brandt, they fucking are. I can't believe we nearly got Julian Brandt. Like, no disrespect to him, but yeah, we could have ended up with Julian Brandt. Like, how different would the Premier League have been? Or how different would the Liverpool life have been had we got Julian Brandt instead of Mo Salah. Like it's hard to imagine we'd be in this position where we've been competing for Premier Leagues and winning Champions Leagues and winning 2 Premier Leagues and two it's unfathomable to me. Who knows? Julian Brandt could have turned into a world beater. I'm not going to dispute that, but fucking hell. I start my Liverpool journey in Tuchel and Keegan. Yeah, I mean that's class though. To be fair, I think that's ace. As I say, it's yeah. My first game was in 2008 when we played Newcastle. Gerard Torres and Pennant scored. I remember when Torres scored, he slid right in front of me. That's cool. 2008 as well. That's like a that was a good. Was that the 0809 or was that 0708? What was the because 0809 was obviously the league push. 0708 was a bit of a it was all right season. That's when things started to click, but that's a good. I mean, that's a good time to start. 2004. I started just after Michael Owen left. That was the big sort of the news story. 0708. Okay, so yeah, the season before the push. But that's sick though. Like you got like we were in the same times. We got to see Xabi Alonso, Javier Mascherano, Yossi Benayoun, who does not get the appreciation he deserves. By the way, when that top 10 favorite players list comes out, I'm telling you now, there's going to be controversial takes in it. But we are going to start wrapping up because I didn't realize I'd been on for an hour and 10. I just got really carried away with all the messages that were coming through, which I really do appreciate as always. Please, in the future, get involved. Keep putting the comments in. If you've not done it already, please click like and subscribe because we're almost at 5,000, which is incredible. Jeremie Frimpong has signed supposedly his contract. He's had his medical. Conor Bradley's on a new deal. The summer of 66 is a bunch of bollocks. It's happy days. Thank you all very much for watching. There will be a top 10 out soon. I've got one in the works at the moment, all typed up, ready to go. Just need to record it, edit it, get it up. If you've got any suggestions, leave them in the comments because I always read them. I'll always respond to them. And if you've got any good ideas, I'm happy to get involved. And I can credit you as well. If you put the suggestion in, happy to say this list was suggested by this person. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. And I'll see you all in